Thank you for joining me. I am Elaine Bartlett, and so happy to be spending this afternoon with you. It's a little bit of a drizzly day here in Florida, but it's a beautiful day. And I do encourage you to call in as you feel prompted at 321-806-3159. And the name of my show is The Purple Portal. So if you need to reach me via email, that is purpleportal777 @gmail.com. And today, I don't know why I feel always so gabby when I get to this station, but there's a lot to share. A lot of things are happening today. I'm hoping all of them are good, but I have a feeling some of them will fall under the category of people raising their eyebrows and perhaps even being a little frightened, because it is a transition and a transformation month, big time. And that month starts April 4th, and today is April 4th. So before I get into too much of telling you what's cooking today, I want you to think about a couple of things. Number one, and you should write this down in your inner forehead. Stop trying to fix yourself. Stop trying to fix yourself and anyone else who is outside of yourself. In other words, your other selves or other people. Nobody needs fixing. Nobody needs adjusting. They are on the evolutionary ladder exactly where they are destined to be and where they have risen to be. And no step is any better or worse than the other step. You and I might look at some steps and think, ooh, they look pretty frightening or difficult, challenging, or a little envious. Oh, that step looks so much lighter and freer and easier. Every step is exactly the right step. And part of the journey in a body is to embrace and appreciate the step you're on. And you can only do that by staying very present and aware in the moment. So don't be going anywhere. For example, yesterday I spent time counseling a beautiful woman up in New Jersey. And I let her speak on, and I'll bet you, if I counted correctly, maybe 9, 10, or perhaps 12 times, her mantra was, maybe I should. And this was referring to a change of career, a change of lifestyle. And I've counseled this beautiful soul now for several months, perhaps even years. So it's interesting because there was a cycle where, no, there was no doing something else. It was more a case of be present to holidays and birthdays and the change of career and the putting down of an old career. But now the cycle is beginning. That cycle of just allowing, that's kind of coming to a sense of completion. So her spirit's getting jumpy. And what she kept doing was, maybe I should do this. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should do this. And so finally, I think my patience wore a little thin, and I was like, whoa, wait a second. There's two problems with that 3-word mantra. Maybe I should. Maybe, well, I guess there's actually 3 problems with the 3 words, maybe, and I, and should. The universe does not know should, and it certainly doesn't understand maybe. So if you're trying to magnetize under the law of attraction something to come to you, you can't waffle. you can't be so indecisive because it's kind of like a beautiful puppy dog just looking at you, tilting its head from side to side with its ears perked up, but it doesn't know whether to fetch the bone or sit down or stand up because of your own indecision, and you are that puppy dog. So, first off, get rid of the word maybe. There's no maybe in the universe. Second thing, quite frankly, there is no you. There is only the presence. I is connected with ego. And the word should, well, that implies a future, but it's very waffling. That's even more of a waffle than maybe. So there is no should. So what you got to do with your life is contemplate it. Go out in nature. Nature is your friend. I know we don't even know how to spell nature. It's kind of like joy. These two beautiful gifts that are all around us. I mean, even if you live on the 21st floor of an apartment, you can go downstairs, find a tree, and just stand near it and appreciate it. So the should, which is putting you into the future, and the I and the maybe, you can see none of it is going to bring you what you want. So in that inner silence, you contemplate. And you can think about some things. That's fair enough. You know, do you want to be a truck driver? Do you want to make $1 million? Do you want to be a ballerina? You can think about those things, but don't agonize about them. Because by the time the livingness of you is actually wanting to express itself, it's darn well going to do that, with or without all your angsting. So save yourself the angsting. Angsting makes you look old, so really save the angsting. And if you do enough angsting, it also tends to make you sick, good and sick. So when the livingness of you wants to have the impetus to do something, how you will recognize it is there comes a bit of impetus with a thought. And I'll use this gal yesterday as an example. She's been speaking for many months of her love of homes, her appreciation of design. Many years ago, she had been a realtor, actually, in a big city. So what's happened is it's almost come full circle. But she started to say, well, I don't have a license. And all of a sudden it struck me, it's time to drop the shoulds, drop the maybes, drop the I. Take the first baby step. It's not always timely to take the first baby step. But by the time it's time, it's time. It's that simple. So I kind of laughed and said, you know, as we're speaking, would you just Google real estate schools? Because it feels to me like there's one that will start very, very soon, and you might want to be in it. So she's Googling, and all of a sudden she found one starting yesterday. One course was given in the afternoon and one in the evening. And she had the presence to say, could I call you back? I think I need to call this place right away. She called the place right away. No problem. She could come for the evening class. That was going to be sufficient. And when she called me back, you could actually feel the sensation within her spirit. Finally, the stickiness that had held her in place for many months, and good things were accomplished during that time. All of a sudden, it's kind of like she was catapulted out of the cannon, and she's in class as we speak. Maybe now she's out of the class, but it's good to go. Now, whether she does anything with that, here's where the mind gets us scrambled. Well, I don't know if I want to be a real estate person. I don't know if I want to, sit in a community or do rentals or do residential or commercial. I'm like, whoa, wait a second. You're only, because I said this yesterday, you're only on Monday. You can't have that peace yet. So you see, we tend to want to put the cart before the horse. And here's where our well-meaning friends do some real damage. Well, where are you going to go with that license? What are you going to do with it? How are you going to... I find that all very tedious. So when you are exposed to well-meaning friends who begin to ask, what are you going to do with it? Or worse yet, oh, you should go talk to someone else. That is so inappropriate for this woman at this time. First of all, she had the commandment yesterday, drop the shoulds. So in your well-meaningness, if you're suggesting to someone they should do something, you should and must close your mouth because you're off limits. You are draining your own energy and you are harming and interfering with their life path. You can offer on rare occasion something that's perhaps worked for you, but I'm telling you, be careful with that as well. So it was very, very interesting to see how that played out, which is why I want you to stop trying to fix yourself. By yesterday, she was at her wit's end. She had done as much fixing as she cared to do. And somebody like me says, hallelujah, because there was nothing to fix in the first place. The essence of you is already filled with total 100% presence. You cannot improve upon that. You cannot die, and you were not born, which is why there is no I. And for those of you that are having challenges getting to that point, you need to move closer to me in Melbourne. I'm just in the process of opening a little studio, and you can come weekly so we can move through those simple, well, that's simple, that one simple understanding and reinforce it for one another because it's all there is. There's nothing else. I also want to read you a little inspirational thing that came across my attention this morning. Life is like a puzzle, and we put the pieces together in a way that fits for us. So in other words, my puzzle pieces are not going to fit into your puzzle, and your puzzle is not going to fit into mine. Until now, your puzzle hasn't seemed to fit together in a way that has made sense. What seems out of harmony for you will begin to feel balanced once again. And this is what's happened to this woman in the other state that I'm referring to. And if it's happened to her, it's happening for you. It's happening for all listeners and your families. So I'm going to read it again. What seems out of harmony will now begin to feel balanced. And even though some things feel like they just don't work, shifts and adjustments are happening. You will find that things start to fall into place and everything fits together perfectly in your life. And that's what the whole month of April is actually about. We've stepped today into the month of the wood dragon.